What is poppin', beautiful people? My name is Jesimein, and today we're going to be addressing self-love, the hardest concept that our society tends to get wrong all the time and not understand that it causes all the issues that we go through about our day. So before I even get into that, we're going to start with Matthew 22, verse 37 through 39. And as Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." So this stood out to me for a particular reason. It's the concept that people think self-love is and what it actually should be. So Jesus wants us to love others as we love ourselves. And people are saying, well, and in order for me to do that, I have to grow personally. I have to do this. I have to go on my own journey. That's true to an extent. You have every right to explore your life. Nobody can stop you. But nobody can also feel bad when you decide to hurt yourself in a position where you necessarily didn't have to. I think people lose the idea that loving somebody else teaches you how to love yourself. If you have the capacity to love another genuinely with a willing heart, you will be able to understand certain things about yourself that you probably didn't know when you were walking in your selfish walk. Think about this. When you go about your day and you finish your day, whether you grinded, you got up and you're building your business, you're building your brand, you're in school, you're studying, you're doing all this stuff. Most of that is for yourself, right? For self-betterment. I want to grow as an individual. I want a successful life for myself so I can give to my family. That's the concept, right? That's the concept of American dream. I want to get to a position, have a family, be successful, and be able to help my family in the process, which is good. Nobody's saying that's wrong. But your spiritual walk has to line up with that. And if you are truly believing in what Jesus wanted us to do, that is to love others. And you cannot sacrifice people who you were probably designed to help or to love on in your process of growth just because it needs to get you to a position where you think you need to be at. And I think that's why he said this is the first and greatest commandment, loving God, right? Here's loving God, and then here's loving your neighbor right next to it. It's not one and two. It's literally like right on the same level. And I think he meant what he said by that, because you can only love yourself by loving others. If you are selfish, if you live a life that's only for you, you're going to be doomed to just yourself. When things aren't supposed to go your way, you can only blame yourself. When things are good, you're only going to give glory to yourself and not God. You're going to lose the people who actually care about you in the process, because selfish lifestyles lose loving people, and that's just how it is. There's going to be friendships that you probably look back on like, man, I really didn't have to lose that friendship had I not went in this selfish path that I didn't really enjoy in the first place. And I think when you have a heart that's for others and not yourself, God blesses you. God doesn't bless people who only care about themselves. And the reason is not because he doesn't love you, because God loves selfish people and non-selfish people alike. It's because everything you do, you're only going to give credit to yourself for. You can't say, I did this, and God did a little bit. No, you got to give God full glory of that. Your relationships, your friendships, those are going to start becoming selfish. It's going to be people you surround yourself by, because you're not going to be able to reciprocate love to those who are giving. And even if they're the best person for you in the world, best friend, best husband, best wife, best coworker, you're never going to be able to receive it because you see it through a selfish lens. A person can genuinely love you, genuinely give you the world, genuinely pray for you and be cool with you, but you will not see it that, because in your selfish mind, they're doing it for something. You find a new boyfriend, you find a new girlfriend. Why are they nice all of a sudden? What do they want? You see what I'm saying? You start questioning things that have no answer. That's just a person that loves you. That's just a person that cares. There is no hidden agenda, because you're looking through your life through how you would live it, right? And that's not peace. You will never trust. That's why people who only care about themselves find it really hard to have relationships with people long term, because they don't trust, because there has to be some catch. Because usually from what I went through and how I would handle it, and it sucks, because it's a never ending cycle of pain that you don't have to go through if you just let go of it and loved. People want to have contingency plans for everything. People want to have understanding of everything. That's not how life is. You're never going to be able to prepare for it. But the thing is you can't burn everybody else in your life for your own personal gain, because you seek this reality that is yours, which you have every right to, right? Just because you have the right doesn't mean you take it, right? Like, I have the right to reciprocate offense, right? I have the freedom of speech, but just because I have the right to doesn't mean I have to. I can choose to be a bigger person. If somebody punches me in the face, I have every right to punch them back or turn the other cheek. Depending on your preference, some people are like, nah, that's too much. And I understand, but there's always a choice. It's not a, oh, because I can. Does that make sense? So for me, I think self-love starts with the ability to love others, because if you cannot love others, you cannot love yourself. If you cannot go through life being able to understand others' flaws, you know how you understand your own, right? If you can't love somebody through them doing you wrong, how are you going to live with yourself when you do somebody wrong? How are you going to be able to go through your life comfortable to the point where you feel I've done everything I could to love others and I haven't got anything back? That's impossible. That's not how it's going to happen. If you love others so much, and in my particular case, and in my particular life, I feel like I love others. I think I have a lot of people who could speak for me in my life, that I care a lot about people, and I don't question, like, I'm very trusting, I'm very easygoing, I'm very open. I don't sit back and look for the bad in people. I automatically give them benefit of doubt, which could be dangerous in some cases, but because of my experience with life, I give and I receive what I give. And you reap what you sow in your life. And I think people who live lives that are only acclimating their self are going to only produce fruits that are only going to benefit themselves. And I think what sucks is sometimes you can't stand yourself. Sometimes I irritate myself. I'm pretty sure you irritate yourself. I'm pretty sure people go through phases where, man, why did I do that? And you beat yourself up and you have nobody to vent to because you don't trust anybody. Right? And I think self-love starts with the ability to say, hey, this person has a flaw and I can love them through it. That means somebody else can love me through my flaw. This starts with the idea that love isn't just tailored to certain people. And if you live a selfish life where you can't love through certain hardships and issues, you're going to live a life where it's like, if I can't love through it, nobody can love me through it. So if I have a flaw, this is my flaw, boom, I'm going to live with this. When that's not a peaceful life, you're going to make mistakes in your future. Relationships are going to get hard. Friendships are going to get hard. You're going to do something that you regret and you're going to wish somebody forgave you for. But if you can't forgive somebody and love somebody enough to forgive them from doing something to you, how in the world are you going to live with yourself, which you can't escape? You can't just cut off yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can, but we know you don't. Suicide, all that stuff, that's what you don't want to do. But people go through life cutting people off for their flaws because they can't love their own. And I think you can escape doing somebody wrong. You can escape insulting somebody by blocking them, by disappearing out their life. But when you do it to somebody and you have to live with it, because you are going to do it, because you're a human being, you cannot escape that. And if you don't have the capacity to love somebody else who's done something to you that you may not necessarily have loved, what in the world do you think you're going to do when you put yourself in a position where you're going to do that and you have to go to sleep at night with yourself? You can't just block yourself. You're going to have to live with that in a world that was designed for you to love through, so you can be loved. That's why people say, if you're not ready for a relationship, and a big sign is going to be that you're just not happy with yourself. I'm not happy with myself. In order for me to be, that's the truth of all truths. And you can't be happy with yourself unless you are able to have the capacity and understanding to love another person, right? So self-love is the most selfless thing. Think about this. If self-love was meant just for yourself, just for me, I just love myself and that's it, without the concept of being able to love others and do this and that, you wouldn't need affection, you wouldn't need emotion, you wouldn't need nothing from other people. But we're humans, we do. We feed off of love, we feed off of comfort and security. Self-love is a concept that is designed for self-growth, and it's okay, good, grow, grind, get in shape, love yourself. But the core that powers all of that is the ability to love those who have loved you, to give to those who have given to you, not to live a me, myself, and I life. That's not how God designed it. That's not in the Bible. It's love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you're that selfish to where I love me so much, I only care about me, that just shows your capacity to love another person that you're choosing not to. And I think we lose this concept because if I can benefit, why would I not do it? It should be, how can all of us benefit? How can me, my family, my loved ones, even my enemies benefit from this growth? Not just me, because I know at some point I can front it right now. I can live my life and do what I want to do, and that's okay. God gave you free will. But the problem with that is, what are you going to do at the end of that race when your energy runs out? You have no one to rely on. No loved ones, not even God, because you have to walk away from God to pursue a selfish life. Because the closer you get to God, the closer you're going to get to people. The more you're going to have a heart for others. The more you're going to realize, man, this person loved me. Man, this person had my best interest. You're not going to be worried about, man, I remember I went to the gym and I was so happy with myself and I was happy. But why am I not happy all of a sudden? Who can you blame besides yourself? Because you cut everybody off to walk in a path that's designed just for you, right? Tailored for me. But the problem is, it all depends on where your walk is with God. Either you're walking towards God, which is going to ultimately lead you to his word, which is truth. And it's clear as day. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you love yourself so much, that energy better be exploded onto anybody else. But if you don't love yourself, you need to start the process, which is by loving others. So for me, self-love, truly, like, again, self-identity and your purpose and being able to have peace with yourself, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you're going to make mistakes in your life. And if you cannot love another person for their flaws, you're never going to love yourself in the way that you're seeking in your selfish path if you don't start to fully dissect who you are and who you should be versus, if I'm good, then it's all good. That's temporary. You can only be good on your own strength for so long. You're going to run out of strength. You're going to need somebody to fall on. You're going to need somebody to vent to. And anybody you believe at that point, because you walk that path, you're not going to trust to begin with, because selfish people surround themselves with selfish people. And I think that cycle keeps you trapped. And then the loved ones are looking back like, we just wanted to love you. You cut us off because if anybody stepped into that walk with you, if anybody stepped in opposition of you, even if it was out of full love, you cannot see it, because through a selfish lens, you live a selfish life. And through a selfish life, you surround yourself with selfish people, and anybody else outside of that is going to look like an enemy to you. Because if they're not feeding you and you alone without needing nothing in return, I have nothing to do with you. And if you surround yourself with people like that, you're never going to get filled. You're always going to be giving, right? At some point, your true colors are going to show, and you're going to be unhappy with yourself, thus leading you from the very place that you started your self-love journey, right? You became selfish because you thought that's the way to fulfill and love yourself, and you ended up right where you started after all this wasted time. So for me, self-love is loving another person as Christ has loved you through your flaws. And that's the baseline. You cannot start loving yourself without that, because you have to look at God, who looks at us, which we're imperfect. We sin every day. I sin every day. Every pastor, every big name, everybody sins every day, but we get forgiven and we get loved through our flaws every day. So if I look at that, I'm like, God, you can love me through this. I can love this person through that. And it makes me at peace, because I'm like, no matter what I do, no matter what flaws I'm born with, no matter what issues that I go through in life, the mistakes that I know I'm going to make, I know I have something to fall back on. And that's the fact that I have people who love me through my flaws, and those people are loved through God. And it's like a domino effect of love versus you trying to be your own little domino all the way over here by yourself. When you fall, who's picking you up? But in the selfish mode, I got myself. No, you don't. No human on earth does. I don't care if you're a millionaire. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're the sexiest individual. I don't care if you have all the girls in the world or all the boys in the world. Whatever you have, it's going to end at some point where you need another. That's why you don't forsake the assembly of God's people. So that's how I feel about it. I had to be kind of clear coat, correct, and use my own experience through it, because the truth is that in order for you to live a life that you love yourself, that you're happy, and that you're at peace, you have to be able to give that to another person before you can have it for yourself. That's how we were designed. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Send this to somebody that you feel, is just going through their own little walk, and just pray for them. Love on them regardless. Show grace, and don't allow offense to take control of your heart, because they get in attack mode when it comes to this. People who don't want help get super hostile when you try to help, even if it's genuine intention. So be prepared for that, pray on that, and you will be good. I love y'all. Peace.